Now exit out of the part that you're already in, and I'd like to open up a new assembly file, blank, empty assembly file. And I want to go back to the parts library and take a closer look at this. And so I'm going to go back and drag in my block into my new empty file and take a different approach. And so I'll go back to the parts library and drag that block in again. Now the first thing I'd like you to pay attention to, if I just drag it in the middle of the screen, it puts it right on top of the other part, and so it makes it harder to work with. So I'm going to hit undo, and when I drag in the block again, I'm going to put it out of the way to give me some room to work. So now if I hit fit, I've got some room to work here. Now it defaults to something called flash fit, and it's waiting for me to say I'd like to align this with this face or whichever face I select. But instead of using flash fit, I'm going to hit escape. But before I do that, I'd like you to see up here under assemble how these buttons are grayed out. And these are the critical 3 assemble buttons that we're going to use. But again, they're grayed out because flash fit is operational. But if I go and hit escape or select, now see these buttons are active. I could go back and use flash fit, or I could mate, and I could planar align. So let's go and do that. If I'd like this face to mate to this face, I'm going to go up here and use the mate command. I'll select the mate command, and I'll select this face and this face. Now if I fit that, did it actually do what I wanted? Yeah, those two faces, if I look at the front view, they're face to face now, mated together. I just need to use some other constraints to straighten it up more. But I'm going to hit select again, escape. This face, and I can see my colors now, and so now if I go up here to the planar align, I'd like to align this with this. And again, I'm going to hit select just to see where I am. Now I've actually made a mistake, and I actually wanted this face here to be mated to this face here. So to fix this, I need to identify this block, the second block that I pulled in, and say, tell me about yourself. And if I come down here, I see it's got 2 constraints. It has the planar align I used there, and it has the mate I used right there. So, well, I really didn't want these 2 faces mated together. So again, if I touch down here, where it tells me about my constraints, I can just right mouse click and say delete the relationship. And now, if I go back and hit escape again, I can go back and say, look, I really wanted to mate this face with this face. I'm going to hit select again to see where I am. And these faces are mated together. Now what do I need to do? I need to go down to the align command, planar align this with this. And now they're lined up. Now if I go back to my parts library and I want to bring in the block again, but this time I'd like to rotate the block around because I'm actually going to mate these back faces. So I'll rotate it around, and then when I drag the block in, it comes in that position. So it's a lot easier for me to work with. And then I can simply click on this, and if I use flash fit, I can click on that and that because I'm using flash fit. Now again, if I want to escape out of this, I just hit the select or the escape button, and then I would simply say I've got those 2 lined up. So now I would line up this. Let's do a planar align this with this, and a planar align this with this.